What if being chosen isn't about glory, destiny, or special powers, but about an uncomfortable, relentless inner overhaul that almost nobody can live with? An Omega-level chosen one, as used here, describes an extremely rare spiritual awakening, a phase of intense inner recalibration that brings heightened perception, heavy responsibility, and constant paradox. This isn't a hero's coronation or a tidy set of abilities. It's a deep shift in how you experience self, time, and other people, one that often looks messy from the outside and demands sustained integration on the inside. Over the next sections, you'll find 7 signs that tend to cluster around this rare profile, each paired with prompts to help you reflect rather than diagnose. Think of the list as a mirror and a map. It may reveal strange resonance, offer language for what you're going through, and point toward practices for grounding and stewardship. A quick but important caution: intensity is not a virtue in itself. Romanticizing suffering or using chosen as an excuse to avoid professional help can be dangerous. If anything here raises alarms, medical, psychological, or safety-related, prioritize practical support alongside any spiritual work. Sign number 1, radical misalignment with social roles. There's a persistent, low-grade ache that comes from trying to fit a life into someone else's template, a career, a relationship style, a set of cultural expectations that look sensible on paper but feel foreign when you live them. You may repeatedly make choices designed to conform, stay in a steady job, play the role others expect, adopt familiar rituals, and still wake up feeling hollow, anxious, or oddly numb. This isn't simple restlessness or poor discipline. It's a deep mismatch between your inner compass and the social maps around you. The effort to perform normalcy can be exhausting, and it often leaves you questioning whether there's something wrong with you rather than with the fit. That misfit shows up in how you move through communities. Friendships fall away. Groups that once felt comforting start to feel constraining, and you find yourself outpacing the values or emotional vocabulary of the people you love. It's not that you've become arrogant or incapable of belonging, it's that your inner map is changing faster than social structures can update. That creates grief and loneliness, but also an invitation to be selective about where you invest belonging, to cultivate companions who can hold growth without judgment, and to learn that leaving a tight-knit space can be an act of integrity rather than betrayal. Sign number 2, intense empathic and energetic sensitivity. You feel other people before they speak, not metaphorically, but in your bones. Sudden heaviness in your chest when someone else is grieving, a tightness in your stomach that isn't yours, or a background hum of tension that follows you out of crowded rooms. This osmotic quality means emotions and physical sensations flow into you unless you actively manage your boundaries. It's useful to name it as an energy pattern rather than a character flaw. Practices like short grounding exercises, clear micro-boundaries, wearing earphones in transit, limiting small talk, breath work, and intentional recovery windows aren't indulgences for you. They're essential hygiene. Because you're porous, certain environments and people rapidly deplete you. Noisy events, doom-scrolling feeds, or highly reactive personalities can leave you flattened and fuzzy-headed. Paradoxically, those same stretches of withdrawal, quiet mornings, slow walks, or deliberate silence often produce sudden clarity, intuitive nudges, precise insights, or a stripped-down sense of what matters. Learning to treat solitude as a diagnostic tool, not avoidance, and scheduling energetic resets before and after demanding situations will help you preserve your sensitivity while staying functional in the world. Sign number 3, recurrent synchronicities and precognitive nudges. Meaningful coincidences stop feeling like random noise and start feeling like a thread you can follow. The same symbol appearing in different contexts, a book recommendation that answers a private question, or repeated numbers that coincide with clear moments of choice. For an Omega-level pattern, these synchronicities arrive with a weird precision, nudging attention in a particular direction so often that it's hard to chalk them up to chance. That sense of directed meaning can be disorienting and intoxicating at once. It feels like a map being drawn under your feet, but the map is made of moments, not ink. Those nudges often come paired with precognitive flashes, vivid hunches, charged dreams, or gut-level urges that later play out in unexpectedly literal ways. People with this sign learn to treat these impressions as data. They journal them, note outcomes, and run small, low-risk experiments to test whether a hunch is guidance or wishful thinking. The goal isn't blind obedience to every inner whisper, but the disciplined cultivation of discernment. Honor the info, verify it, and use it to make more grounded choices. Sign number 4, rapid inner alchemy and shadow surges. Spiritual growth for you doesn't arrive as a slow, steady climb. It hits like a surge. One day, an insight or a breakthrough makes everything click. The next day, you're unmoored, dizzy with new perceptions and unable to trust old frameworks. These accelerated awakenings bring clarity and creativity, but they also come with volatility. Emotional swings, confusion, perhaps, and a stretched sense of identity that can last for weeks or months. Integration becomes the real work. Practices like journaling, somatic grounding, and patient rituals are the scaffolding that lets sudden shifts settle into sustainable change. Alongside the highs, shadow material often rises with fierce intensity. Old wounds, suppressed anger, shame, or patterns you thought were fixed can resurface as raw, eruptive material demanding attention. This isn't regression so much as alchemy. The unconscious shows itself not to punish you, but to be transformed. The task is hard. It requires honest witness, compassionate boundaries, and sometimes professional support. But when shadow is met and transmuted, it loosens the old stories and creates genuine freedom rather than a polished denial. Sign number 5, call to solitude and strange productivity rhythms. Solitude for you isn't avoidance, it's fuel. You cycle into long, deep withdrawals where social noise falls away and a different kind of work surfaces, concentrated creative bursts, clear ethical thinking, or quiet projects that feel profoundly necessary. These phases can look like hibernation to outsiders, but they reliably produce your most original ideas and the clearest recalibrations of your inner life. Treat them as part of your ecology rather than a flaw to be fixed. Protecting those windows is as important as meeting obligations. Because of those rhythms, standard productivity templates feel wrong or flat. 9-to-5 checklists, constant collaboration, and KPI-driven output often clash with your need for ebb and flow. You do best with a rhythm that includes intentional rest as a production input, longer stretches of focused work, then deliberate downtime to incubate what you've made. Learning to explain this pattern to coworkers, family, or collaborators, and to design systems that respect it, prevents shame and keeps your output sustainable. It's not laziness, it's a different time signature. Sign number 6, uncanny capacity to hold paradox and bearing responsibility. You have an unusual tolerance for contradiction. You can sit with opposite truths without rushing to pick a side, and that capacity lets you see subtleties others miss. Where most people want tidy answers, you're comfortable holding complexity, moral gray areas, competing facts, and emotional ambivalence. And that steadiness often makes you a natural listener, mediator, or subtle translator between polarized viewpoints. This ability isn't intellectual showmanship. It's a somatic steadiness that lets ambiguity be useful instead of anxiety-provoking. Alongside that, there's a quiet pull to take responsibility, not for accolades or status, but because you feel compelled to ease suffering, repair damage, or steward something larger than yourself. That duty can be steadying and meaningful, but it also risks martyrdom if you don't set boundaries. You'll need to pair your commitment with clear limits, routines for replenishment, and trusted people who can carry the load with you. When balanced, this blend of paradox tolerance and humble responsibility becomes a powerful foundation for sustainable service rather than burnout. Sign number 7, recalibrated time, death awareness, and nonlinear identity. Time stops being a straight line for you. It stretches, folds, and loops in ways that make ordinary life stages feel negotiable. Memories arrive with fresh relevance, future possibilities feel vividly near, and decisions are often guided by a blended sense of who you were, who you might become, and who you already are. That nonlinear identity can be freeing. It allows you to reclaim parts of yourself that felt lost, or to act as if a future self already exists. But it can also be disorienting when others expect a tidy, linear life story. Grounding rituals, narrative practices, like timeline journaling, and small, present-focused commitments help translate that elastic sense of time into practical choices rather than perpetual drift. Alongside this temporal recalibration comes an unusual familiarity with endings that sharpens rather than paralyzes you. Awareness of mortality turns background noise into clarity, prompting you to prioritize what actually matters rather than what looks impressive. That doesn't mean living in crisis mode. It means making braver yeses and cleaner nos, tending meaningful relationships, and investing in legacy-oriented actions, art, care, repair, that feel honest. Still, this heightened proximity to finitude can stir anxiety or grief, so pair the urgency it brings with steady practices, breathwork, community check-ins, grief work, that keep presence sustainable and kind. Before you go, try a few quick reflection prompts to gauge what resonated. Which 2 signs felt most like home, or like a flash of recognition? When did you last feel both exhilarated and exhausted after a spiritual event, and what followed? Who in your life can hold the messy, growing parts of you without needing them to be fixed? Use these as gentle probes, not a checklist. They're meant to open curiosity, not to label you. And an important safety note, if any experiences feel overwhelming, prolonged, or interfere with daily functioning, intense anxiety, dissociation, suicidal thoughts, or severe sleep appetite changes, please seek medical or mental health support promptly. Professional care and grounding practices can and should coexist with spiritual work.